At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. We have ignition sequence start. The engine's now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. We have a launch commit and we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off with power.
This is WOMMLP operating out of Burlington, Vermont, 105.9 The Radiator. Good evening. It is The Rocket Shop. I'm your host, Tom Proctor, and with me tonight is Dylan Murray. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm great.
Thanks for coming in this evening. Looking forward to hearing you play. We always like kicking it off with a song first, so what have you got for us?
This is one of the first songs I wrote after I had gone down to Nashville. I kind of felt more inspired to write more being down there. And this is just more kind of about my situation. It's just kind of being about being poor, not liking it very much, but it's a very
Right.
relatable song.
Yeah.
It's called Money.
All right.
I keep a $2 bill in my wallet, and I don't spend it even when I'm broke. It might seem foolish, but my grandpa told me it's the little things that matter most. And I flip a quarter just for good luck. Six string and fiddle on one side. And I ain't religious or superstitious, but it's got me through some hard times, yeah. Just barely getting by, oh, getting by. And we all need Monday, oh, money. Quarter down, nickel penny. Tell me, do you have any helping old soul? My boots are worn down, my back is blown out. All I'm running off is hope. Time passes by and I start to slide my hands down my face again. tell me, do you have any helping or soul? My boots are worn down, my back is blown now. All I'm running off is hope.
All right, Dylan Murray there with Money. So Dylan, you were mentioning you wrote that song when you were down in Nashville.
I wrote it shortly after I came back.
Shortly after you came back, when you were feeling a little bit strapped for cash.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your experience down to Nashville. Why did you go down? What called you there?
I mean, I had decided I wanted to go down, and ever since I decided, I kept meeting people that had either just come back or were going, and I kept hearing a lot about it. And then, odd story, but I was playing guitar for these homeless people under a bridge in Middlebury, and I was telling them exactly what I just told you. And as I'm saying that, an Amtrak goes by on the other side of the road, with Nashville, Tennessee on the side of it. So I'm like, okay, I have to go now. So I saved up enough money. Got a flight ticket down there.
Okay, I was going to say you didn't just hop on that Amtrak immediately.
No,
you did bring
I
stuff
saved-
with you, yeah.
Saved up some cash, went down there. Shortly before I went down there, about a week before, I found a quarter to Nashville, Tennessee from the year I was born with a guitar and a fiddle on it. That's what the quarter part on the second verse of that song was. And, you know, I went down there with kind of no plan. I was just like, I want to play at as many places as I can. And it just all kind of worked its way out. I ended up playing at some pretty big places. I started at the Tennessee Brew Works, ended up at the legendary Kimbrough's Picking Parlor on the 4th of July. Ended up doing like 45 minutes there, and then through somebody who I met from playing there, they got me into the Fox and Lock, which was, you know, kind of like a big deal down there. So it ended up turning out way more than I had expected it to
Yeah.
be, and I just kind of felt inspired from the whole thing to come
Yeah.
back home and kind of write more.
Why did that journey to Nashville end? It sounded like you're on the up and up, and then you decided to come back to Vermont. What happened there?
Money.
Money.
I actually left Nashville with negative $200 in my bank account and $80 in my wallet.
Okay, so really it squeezed you dry.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you had a great experience.
But
and-
yeah, it was, you know, all positive.
Yeah.
I would do it again in a heartbeat if I could.
Are you planning on going back down then?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm trying to go back down probably, you know, once we get into the spring a little more. Try to hit some of the same spots. I got an in at the Fox and Lock, so I can do like a 3-hour set when I come back down there. So
Oh, wonderful.
yeah,
So you just kind of like you create a foundation for your future career kicking off down in Nashville.
yeah. I mean, I've only been playing and performing in front of people since February of last year. So it's kind of like a new thing to me, and it's gone very well. So it's kind of been like a scramble to get myself together and, you know, get
Yeah.
stuff recorded and try to take it more seriously.
So yeah, talking of that, so have you managed to get into a recording studio at all? Is this the first time you've been recorded? That sometimes
This
is
is
the case.
the first time I've ever done anything like this at all.
Yeah.
I have I just kind of built a studio in my room, and I'm in the kind of like the process of getting stuff professionally recorded and mixed and mastered. I don't have anything done yet, but I have a lot of stuff near completion.
Okay. I mean, for someone who's only been doing it for a year, I mean that's pretty quick. So congratulations for getting as
Thank
far as
you.
you have done so far. What was the kind of impetus behind going from like messing around with a guitar to being like, no, actually, I want to start performing. I want to start playing. How did that come about?
I mean, I always played whenever, you know, something was bothering me or something like that. I would always pick up my guitar and it'd put me in a different headspace. I started kind of playing around at parties and stuff like that, and then, you know, I just started thinking while I'm playing, it's like everybody kind of has their own things that bother them, you know, whatever. But like for a brief moment while I'm playing and everybody's having a good time, it seems like everybody's mind is taken off of their own things.
Right.
And I feel like that's just a really important thing. And if that's something I can do, I want to share that.
Yeah. And so what was your first gig? What was the kind of like the first, what you consider your first ever performance?
The Village Tavern in North Ferrisburg, Vermont.
Okay.
One of my buddies' bands was playing, and it was his birthday, and he kind of stopped his set midway through and had put me on stage, and I was just kind of gave it my all, but it went very well. There was like 150 something people there, so and,
Wow.
you know, your first time being in front of people, it It was a lot, but it went well, and I was like, why not? Just keep trying.
Was it better that it was kind of a surprise because then you didn't have to think about it too much
Yes.
beforehand? Yeah,
Yes.
that kind of
I-
worked out. It's like, all right, well, there's 150 people here now. I'm just gonna have to go for it.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
kind of like the mindset I've gone into everything since then. Just like, don't think about it so much.
Yeah.
Just trust in yourself, and what's the worst that's going to happen?
And so it was after this gig, you were like, all right, I need to get that high again. I need to get that. I need to do this for more people. Where did you take it from there? Was that kind of like a week later you were off to Nashville?
So shortly after that, I moved from where I was living in Middlebury up into Stowe, and kind of got a little involved in the music scene up here. Started playing at open mics and stuff like that. And then I'd say, I don't know, it was probably 3 months after that. I saved enough money. I was like, well, why not? I'm gonna go to Nashville.
Yeah.
You know.
And how is that the scene in Stowe? Because obviously we're coming into April now. You've been in Stowe for the past few months, I'm assuming, and so you're really hitting that kind of the skiing crowd in the winter. So what's it like to play for those folks? Not usually Vermonters, if I'm right.
So Stowe is a little more difficult to get into places. You know, it's more about knowing people. And that's a cool area. You know, it pays well, but people are more there for the skiing stuff like that. But Morrisville, the next town up from Stowe, really has an phenomenal music culture there. I host a community music night with Phil Rosenblum at Lost Nation in Morrisville.
Yeah.
It's like the evolution of an open mic. We have a full stage set up. Everything's PA'd. And I've just met so many phenomenal musicians up there since I've been up there. It's like a concentration of them. I've opened for the Eames Brothers a couple of times. I'm not sure if you've heard of them, but
Yeah, no, we have. And if I remember rightly, Lost Nation has got quite a nice music venue kind of set up there.
they do. And it's only getting better. The more, people come in, the more money we kind of are able to put into it and make it better for everybody.
Yeah, it's a really cool community there as well. If I'm remembering Morrisville correctly, I've cycled through there a couple of times, and it's a very sweet, kind of cool town
Yeah.
to kind of be in. Have you felt that your time in Nashville has shaped your music at all? Did you come back a changed man, if you will?
Absolutely. I mean, I started taking it more seriously. It went well while I was down there, so I was like, oh, well, I mean, this is something I might as well actually. If they liked me at some like random open mics up here, that was one thing. But if they liked me when I was down, in Nashville, I was like, okay, well, I need to, kind of take it more seriously, at least give it a shot. Why not?
Right. Has it changed the way that you've approached writing songs? Nashville's a town full of incredible musicians. I'm sure you saw a lot of great musicians while you were down there. Was there anything that you watched down there where you're like, oh, that's what I want to emulate? That's the sort of person that I want to be?
So not necessarily that, but more like this is what I want to avoid. I saw a lot of...
That's also valuable, to be fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people kind of taking other songs or other artists and... it's very clear that that's their inspiration. It's like, it sounds like they're trying to be that person. So I kind of just go into it with the mindset of, I want to sound like me. I want to, whether people like it or not, is not the point. It's just, I want to sound like myself. I don't want to just be labeled as another John Mayer wannabe or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right. You're not trying to do a cover of someone else.
Right.
Or, yeah. Well, that's really interesting, though. I mean, that's, as I said, a valuable lesson is to learn what you don't want to be. And obviously, Nashville is from what I've heard, quite a difficult scene to get big in because it's quite cutthroat. I mean, it's very backstabby. A lot of people are going down there for that reason, and they don't all have the same kind of friendly vibes that we have up in here in Vermont.
No, no. People are a lot more judgmental, and it's very oversaturated, so it's kind of hard to stand out. And also within other musicians, there's not such a sense of community and friendliness. It's like you said, it's more backstabby. And
Yeah.
everybody's trying to cut everybody's throat and get on top.
Right. We'd love to hear another song. So what have you got for us?
Yeah. This is another one I believe I wrote just before that last one. It's called Work Boots. Similar kind of vibe, but it's just kind of like my perspective on like the greater state of what it's just like to be, young, trying to make a living, around a very wealthy community. You know, the one I live in. It's called Work Boots. August leaves on the maple trees, Tunbridge soil on my hands, sweating beads stinging my eyes. Another day of being down. Rich folk don't much seem to worry. They pay me to work their house. They don't understand the hurry to make some money before it runs out. My boots cost me $300. I'm lucky if they last a year or so. And I might be just a blue-collar working man, but this is how I feel in my soul. I think the devil's in the people, and hell's the world they create. And I think heaven is a real place, one that we all could make. I don't much think about the government. I don't like being ticked off, but there's a whole list of wrong. I think they're doing wrong. Oh, I wish we could all agree to disagree and get along. One nation, indivisible, is the only way that we're strong. My boots cost me $300. Lucky if they last a year or so. And I might be just a blue-collar working man, but this is how I feel in my soul. I think the devil's in the people, and hell's the world they create. And I think heaven is a real place, one that we all could make.
All right, Dylan Murray there with Work Boots. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about how you craft a song. So the two we've heard so far, Money, Work Boots, both about struggles, basically, about, you know, stuff that has happened or is happening to you personally. So yeah, is that thematically generally what you're writing about?
That's yeah, usually the theme. I mean, when I sit down and play, it's usually because I'm feeling some kind of way, and when I write songs, I kind of go about it with that approach. I try to just be as genuine as I can with the music that I make.
Is it a sense of like you come home one day and you're like, I'm angry right now, or oh my god, this has been a really really difficult week, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna write about it. Or is it kind of more you're in the shower and just that great line turns up and you're like, all right, I've got to get on this now.
Occasionally that,
Yeah.
occasionally that, but more so it's I'll come home and I was like if I'm feeling some kind of way, I'll sit down and start playing my guitar, and then I find a chord progression or a melody or something that I really like, and it kind of connects with me and resonates, and then I mess around with that, and then just kind of let random lyrics out here to there, and then it ends up turning into something.
How many songs do you have kind of on the go at any one time, or are you one of these people that have to like once you start writing a song, you've got to finish that song?
So I was that way. Lately, I mean, I probably have 5 or 6 songs that I really like.
Yeah.
I'm just like half, 3/4 of the way done with, and I don't ever like to kind of force stuff out. So I'll just come back to it at another point when it feels right and kind of work it out. But I don't ever want to like push to just get it done, just to say it's
Right.
done.
To say it's finished. Have you got? I mean, this is a really difficult question for a lot of musicians, but have you got a song that you would consider your favorite? It's kind of like your baby, if you will. I mean, they're all your babies, but your Sophie's choice. Which one's the best?
I have one that I'm most satisfied with in terms of it being like a full song. In terms of like if you look at it just analytically from a songwriting perspective, I'm most happy with, and that's probably the one I'll play next or last. And it's called Half Full. It's just kind of a relationship song. But,
Right.
I'd say that one is probably.
And is that just because you feel like it's like the best one, or is that because it's the most personal to you, or is it kind of maybe a mixture of both?
It's a little bit of a mixture of both, but more so, I'm happy with the way that I structured it. It's me getting better at writing songs in general.
Do you listen to the sort of music that you're creating as well? I think you did say before you learned that you didn't want to be someone who sounded like someone else, but I'm sure you've got influences. Are you listening to people who sound like yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. But I also listen to a broad spectrum of music.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of Coulter Wall or Tyler Childers, stuff like that. But then I listen to a lot of Wu-Tang Clan. I listen to a lot of new age rap. I listen to a lot of classic rock, alternative.
Right.
Just kind of depends on what mood I'm in.
Has there ever been kind of an influence, say from Wu Tang, that or something similar?
Yeah.
Like that has kind of slipped its way into one of your songs. You're like, that's like a wink and a nod to this other genre that I'm not really doing at all. But
That I can't. I can't say directly. There's a lot of influences in the way I play. But there's no specific song or artist that I've been like, oh, this sounds like something they would write, and I kind of went off of it like that.
slip it in there. And so, as I said, these songs are quite personal. Not everyone likes to talk about the money. Not everyone likes to talk about how it's a struggle to to work all the time and still not make ends meet. It's a very personal thing to bring these things up on stage in front of people. Is there ever been a kind of moment where you're like, this is actually, it's actually hard for me to sing in front of these kind of folks about something that's kind of as personal as this?
I kind of like don't think. I try not my best not to think about it, just
Yeah.
to do it, and then afterwards I'm like, oh my god, what did I just do?
Is it cathartic at all to kind of bare your heart in front of people like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's made me feel a lot better about a lot of things, and also I feel like those are the kind of songs that I want to play in front of people because they resonate with a lot of people and connect on a level, like you said, that not a lot of people talk about.
Right. Have you ever had anyone coming up to you after a gig and being like, hey, this is actually very similar to an experience I've had recently? Has anyone ever kind of made that connection with you afterwards, after hearing one of your songs?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people that specifically that sticks out in my mind is just some of the people that have helped me out while I was going through hard times, and while they were also, and that was kind of the most meaningful thing to me, that it helped somebody out that I cared for that was dealing with a similar problem to me and got them through whatever time that they were having.
Yeah, for sure. And so you did say that you're kind of getting towards kind of creating an album.
Mm.
And so you said you kind of create a studio within your own house.
Mm.
How's that been? Are you a sound engineer kind of guy? Have you learned this from scratch?
Kind of learned it from scratch, but I've done a lot of research. I know a lot of people that are kind of big into sound, so I kind of did the best I could to emulate a professional studio in like a bedroom.
Yeah.
But I went the extra mile and spent more money than I probably should have on like a preamp and an audio
Yeah.
interface and microphone and software and all that stuff.
Well, it's great that I mean, in this kind of work, you kind of what you pay for is what you get.
Exactly.
And if you're not going to pay for the studio time, which ultimately is very expensive,
Yeah.
and you have to do things very quickly, then this is something that is an investment, really. How have you? Was it a steep learning curve once you started kind of playing and messing around with all the kind of mixing and not mixing and mastering, but kind of the recording process?
Not totally. I have a little bit of a history in it. Growing up in music class, we had a section dedicated to that. But even after that, I have a lot of friends that engineer, mix and master, and I've messed around with some of their stuff. So I had a little bit of a familiarity with it, but doing it on my own and for that was completely new to me, and I'm still kind of getting a hold of the curve.
Yeah. It sounds like it's been a bit of a collaborative effort, actually. It sounds like you've got a lot of friends that you've kind of lent on for support and for help in this kind of area. Yeah, has that been an important part of this process for you to be able to kind of reach out to friends on this kind of thing?
I'd say they helped with a lot of inspiration and just conversation about this kind of subject has helped a lot. A lot of what I've been doing myself has been kind of on my own, but just being in that environment and being around people like that has definitely helped me a lot.
Yeah. And so how many songs have you kind of got for this initial album? And have you got kind of a date in mind of when you would want to kind of release it?
So I'm still deciding on, which ones I'm positive on, but I have about 8 to 10, and I'm thinking probably fall, September, October,
All right.
somewhere around there.
That's exciting. Is it been a case of you've known these 8 to 10 tracks from the off, or has it been like these tracks have swapped in and out as this process has gone on, and you've kind of got better or written maybe a better song and gone like, all right, well, I'm actually going to take this one out and slip in one of these newer ones.
Yeah, it's been more like that. As I'm, as I keep going and get a little better as I progress, I definitely tend to swap stuff out.
Yeah.
Become more confident in other songs than stuff I'd written earlier, and it's just whatever I feel happiest with, really.
Yeah. Have you? I mean, these days, a lot of people don't even do albums. Really, it's either LPs or some people just go
EPs,
for
yeah.
straight singles. Just
Yeah.
like they'll release a single every few months. Why did you decide to go for kind of the album route rather than kind of the LP or the single route?
Well, I mean, I am just starting, but I'm also still learning a lot, and there's a lot of improvement that I need to do. So it's kind of just like a foundation of material that when I go out and perform, I can send people to, kind of like get an idea of what I'm about, what my sound is, stuff like that. And then after that, as I progress, it's gonna be more of a single or EP or LP kind of deal.
Have you got a name for the album yet, or is this something that you're still mulling over?
Still kind of getting it down. I might call it Stars and Thorns. I'm not exactly positive.
Is Stars and Thorns got any particular meaning?
Yeah, that was one of the bridges in, I believe, the first song that I did. My grandfather would always tell me, "Count your stars, not your thorns."
Okay.
And that's kind of been, something that just rings in my head a lot throughout life.
How has your family been with this? You playing with street folk underneath the bridge, getting off to Nashville, becoming a star there, coming back. How's your family kind of reacted to this?
They're very surprised.
life.
It's kind of like a random thing I just kind of came out with and doing, but they've been very supportive.
Yeah. So you weren't kind of musical growing up at all?
I mean, I played like saxophone for a long time in like concert bands, stuff like that. But
Okay.
Then, I kind of fallen off from that, and then started teaching myself guitar, and they're like, "Oh, that's cool," and I never really like come out and done anything with it until recently.
Have your parents come to your shows yet? Have they seen you play?
My parents haven't. They live like a few hours away, but a lot of my other family has, and they've been very supportive.
No, that's great. Well, we'd love to hear another song. So what have you got?
All right, this I'm gonna switch over. This is the song I was talking about a little while ago called "Half Full." I'm down a couple dollars, couple friends, couple long lost loves burned up in the center. I've got a hole in my heart, it's been tearing me apart. And I could use a couple gallons of gas, a couple cheap shots of whiskey in my glass. I've been living half full. Girl, you don't even know. I miss the way it feels looking at you from behind my steering wheel. I miss the way you taste some things I'm not able to replace. You done gone and got me feeling so damn empty. Since you got up, walked off and left me, I've been living half full. I've lost total control. Lord knows I've gone so low since I've been living half full. After about a couple of weeks, no eat, no sleep, party repeat, I looked into the mirror. Lord, it couldn't have been here. I said, I don't recognize this man. This wasn't part of the plan. I miss the way it feels looking at you from behind my steering wheel. I miss the way you taste some things I'm not able to replace. You done gone and got me feeling so damn empty. Since you got up, walked off and left me, I've been living half full. I've lost total control. Lord knows I've gone so low since I've been living half full. Girl, since I've been without you, I've had to learn how to be happy all by my lonesome. I promise that I'm okay. I hope you're doing the same. You know I still think about you. I miss the way it feels looking at you from behind my steering wheel. I miss the way you taste some things I'm not able to replace. Done gone and got me feeling so damn empty. Since you got up, walked off and left me, I've been living half full. I've lost total control. Lord knows I've gone so low since I've been living half full.
Half Full there by Dylan Murray. Now, Dylan, you said earlier on that the reason why you went down to Nashville was because of a series of serendipitous moments under the bridge with the street folks, and then finding the Corsa with the from your got your birth year on it with a fiddle and a guitar. Are you the sort of person that is driven by these moments? There's been other areas of your life where you're like, oh, the universe is telling me to do something, and kind of followed that route.
No, not really. And I could totally just be like looking into it way too much. But
I don't know.
I see that, but
definitely the sort of person that does kind of see these moments and decide to do things based on.
Yeah, and it's not like it's a greater calling. Like this is totally what I'm meant to do. It's just it was important, like for me as a person and my development. I think that's what it was like pulling me towards.
Has there been any moment since then, after finding those symbols, was there like other than looking at your bank account, was there a moment where you're like, I'm going back to Vermont, and you found a Vermont coin or something like that?
Not really, no. It was just kind of that. I think that was that was enough. That trip was enough.
Yeah.
It had enough meaning into it to be like, okay, this is this is the path I should really like kind of go down in life.
So obviously Vermont, Tennessee, pretty different places.
Yeah.
However, in many ways, actually very similar, especially when it comes to kind of like country music, honestly, and living in a rural area and the sort of challenges that come with that. Do you feel like your music resonates in both places because of those similarities? And is there any other similarities you kind of saw between Nashville and Vermont?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. The people, the diversity in people, I think is definitely a big similarity between Nashville and here. I feel like everybody kind of fits in there, same as I kind of feel up here. Similar, I mean, otherwise is definitely, I mean, it's kind of country in its own different way, but other than that, I mean, it's definitely a very different place.
Yeah. Is there other areas, I mean, if it wasn't Nashville, would you look elsewhere to go play your music?
Oh, I mean, I go down to the Bronx fairly often and play country music.
Oh, yeah?
And surprisingly, it's gone very well.
That's interesting. So Bronx, Nashville, and Stowe, these are your kind of three areas.
Yeah.
Tell us more a bit about the Bronx. That kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it definitely did. Just somebody who I'd been friends with up here for a while. His brother has like an artist development company down there. It's kind of like you go down, and if they give you a list of different things they can do for you, if you have the money for it, they'll help promote you. Do advertising, radio spin, stuff like that. So I go down there at least once a month and record with a couple different groups down there and do like kind of my own country stuff, and then I do like choruses on their hip hop tracks and stuff like that.
Oh, really? That's super interesting. Have you played live down in the Bronx at all? Then?
So I have not. I'm going down there May 4th for a music video shoot with some of the guys I've been recording with, and I'm sure that there's going to be a couple venues I'm going to play down there within the foreseeable future.
That's really cool. I mean, obviously, skipping a jump to Manhattan, Brooklyn.
Right.
Is that where you're kind of looking at now, maybe to expand your influence then as well?
Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, there's a huge music scene down there. Obviously, there's a lot of opportunity, and I mean, just being able to play in some of the venues down there is a huge opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And so what have you got lined up before you go back to Nashville? What have you got lined up in the spring and summer months around Vermont where people be able to see you playing?
Well, I do Lost Nation twice a month, 2 Fridays a month. The Fridays that they're not doing that, they do have live music, and they do a Thursday night acoustic showcase in the tap room, which I occasionally do, which is from 5 to 7. I play at MC's Penalty Box in Stowe every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. And other than that, it's just kind of, nothing set in stone, but I'll be playing at Moog's Joint, Moog's Place, Stowe Cider, various different places throughout the Lamoille County area.
All right. Okay, so you've got a busy schedule coming up then for the next few months. Notice Burlington very much off that list. Have you never thought about playing in town around here?
I would love to. I just don't have as many connections out here.
Right.
It's still, I know David Carl Roberts fairly well, so hopefully in some point in the future I can make something happen out here.
Always worth reaching out to the Radio Bean. I'm sure they would have you for a set or two. But it'd be good to see your name up in lights, or at least on a chalkboard around town at some point.
Yeah, it would.
Well, we've got time for about one more song, so what are you going to play us out with?
That's a good question. I guess I'll do this. This is actually one of the oldest songs I've written, a little over a year ago. It's called Yellow. I hope you enjoy. Just another day. The sun doesn't shine on me anyway. So what do I care if it rains? It just helps me hide all the pain. And I can see it on people's faces. Dirty looks, the words are abrasive. Think I'm a mess, you should see my spaces. Your pain's in a diary, I got bookcases. Negativity, or is it just me? Maybe they're one in the same. When I walk in, the air gets thin, and I chase away some people's grins. I'm uncomfortable, I think that I should go. Tomorrow's my birthday, but I guess it's just another day. The sun doesn't shine on me anyway, so what do I care if it rains? It just helps me hide all the pain. I can see it on people's faces. Dirty looks, the words are abrasive. Think I'm a mess, you should see my spaces. Your pain's in a diary, I got bookcases. Psilocybin, aglet glasses, let me see what's really happening all around me. My surroundings got me drowning in my own self-pity. Goddamn, I'm weak, and I wish I could sleep, but my thoughts are haunted. Yellow, yellow, been feeling yellow. I've been feeling yellow, yellow, been feeling yellow. I feel yellow, yellow, been feeling yellow. Yellow, yellow, been feeling yellow. It's just another day. The sun doesn't shine on me anyway, so what do I care if it rains? It just helps me hide all the pain. And I can see it on people's faces. Dirty looks, the words are abrasive. Think I'm a mess, you should see my spaces. Your pain's in a diary, I got bookcases. Oh, your pain's in a diary, I got bookcases.
All right, Dylan Murray playing us out there with Yellow. Dylan, thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Before you go, if people want to find out more about you, have you got social media or anything like that?
I have an Instagram, in the process of getting like a TikTok, Spotify, all that set up. But all lowercase DYLANVT63 on Instagram.
All right, thank you so much. All right, well, catch us next week. We've got Grace Palmer coming into the studio, but for now, this has been WOMM LP operating out of Burlington, Vermont, 105.9 The Radiator. It's been The Rocket Shop. I've been your host, Tom Proctor, and good night.